I'm here under threat, duress, and coercion.
You're not even listening. You're not even going to listen. I listen to what you said. Are you going to listen to me?
Well, go ahead.
Are you giving me permission to go ahead now, too, right?
I am here under threat, duress, and coercion to demand
You're not here under threat, duress, or
prove some kind of jurisdiction. And until jurisdiction has been proven.
All right, folks. Today we've got Judge Perkins facing off against yet another sovereign citizen who somehow believes he's cracked the code to dodge the legal system. Seriously, do these people think they discovered some kind of legal loophole that makes them untouchable? What's wild is that this guy actually sounds pretty sharp when he speaks. So how did he end up deep in this sovereign citizen rabbit hole? Do they just wake up one morning, scroll through a sketchy Facebook group, and decide, yep, today's the day I argue with a judge using my new script?
I'd like to say for the record, my name is Jamil of the Family Lockhart.
Let's get the record established. This is the city of Detroit versus Jamel Amir Lockhart. Appearance for the record, please, Counselor.
Rita White, House Counsel, on behalf of Mr. Jamil Lockhart.
All right, Mr. Lockhart.
No one is representing me on my behalf. I don't know that.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lockhart.
Yeah, so I am Jamil of the Family Lockhart, flesh and blood, living man, and attorney in fact for Jamil Lockhart and Legis Trust. I'm here by threat, duress, and coercion. I'm here making a special appearance, and I'm here to demand that the court prove jurisdiction over me as a live flesh and blood man. As I said, I submitted a challenge to jurisdiction. Jurisdiction must be proven and proven on the record. And then also I submitted Freedom of Information Act request for your foreign registration statement and anti-bribery statement, as well as that of prosecutor. There is no contract. Every presentment that was made to me was formally rejected and sent back to the court, which is what you have a copy of, by my notary. I do have a live witness notary who can come in and testify to that fact. Given that there is no commercial contract, no commercial agreement, I fail to see how the court has jurisdiction. Furthermore, there's been no injured party, and there's been failure to state a claim through a verified affidavit. So if someone can prove to me how this statutory commercial court has some kind of jurisdiction over me as a live flesh and blood human being, I think we could start there.
Well, let's start here. You have a notice is not what you think notice should be. Notice is what is if it's properly effectuated in the courtroom. And I'll certainly give you whatever hearing that you want if you file the proper motions of material to contest that. I'll give you an opportunity to be heard on that. But furthermore, what I'm looking at is I have a proof of service.
There is no proof of service that was rejected and sent back to the court. You have a copy of that.
You're not even listening. You're not even going to listen. I listen to what you said. Are you going to listen to me?
I am listening to you. I'm just responding to you.
All right. So why don't you listen before you start making statements?
Oh, you had paused. I thought you were finished.
What it isn't.
Well, go ahead.
Are you giving me permission to go ahead?
Look, it's one thing to be a sovereign citizen and trying to argue your way out of trouble with nonsense legal theories. But it's a whole new level of delusion to think you'll win by being straight up rude and disrespectful. Like my guy, Judge Perkins is literally the one deciding your fate, and your big strategy is to act like a spoiled brat. That's like walking into a job interview and roasting the boss's haircut. What outcome were you expecting? A promotion? This dude is practically speed-running his way to jail, completely oblivious to reality. And I can't help but wonder, does he think he's in some kind of video game where disrespect unlocks secret perks? Spoiler alert, it absolutely does not.
An envelope with certified mail. I don't know what I believe the contents have been stapled to the envelope. It's got a proof of service effectuated by Nyla Perrin. I have a signed complaint here, signed by Officer Randy Randolph on 11/19/2019.
Is he here today?
Well, we can get him in here. Today is only date and time is set for arraignment. So you're just being arraigned, and what the arraignment purposes of your arraignment, and let's go through the whole thing, is you're here for a expired plate ticket. That is a civil infraction that carries a $145 fine. There's an allegation that you did not have a drove while license not valid or improper. That is a misdemeanor offense, punishable by 93 days at the maximum by 93 days in jail and or $500 in fine. On the same day and time, it was an allegation that you did not provide proper insurance. That is a misdemeanor, as it's written here, and that is punishable by the maximum possible penalty of 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines. There's also a warrant for your arrest for an allegation of an improper, not valid driver's license. So today is the date and time set for arraignment. You have the option of pleading guilty, not guilty, or standing mute. You stand mute, I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. What would you like to do, sir?
I am here under threat, duress, and coercion to demand
You're
that
not
this
here under threat, duress, or
prove some kind of jurisdiction. And until jurisdiction has been proven, we can go no further. I would also like to ask you, is this proceeding taking place under common law?
This proceeding is taking place in accordance to the court rules and the statutory laws of the state of Michigan.
So I am not a creature of statute. I am not under statutory law. I would demand that this proceeding take place under common law, as I am a live flesh and blood human being, under no authority but that of God.
All right. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm going to give you another court date. I don't have any All
I need you to do is prove jurisdiction.
You don't tell me what you need me to do, sir. Don't do that. Just let me finish.
With all due respect, the court must prove jurisdiction.
I understand that. We can get this over with quicker rather than later if you let me do my job. What I was trying to say, you're making your claim and stating your case that the court doesn't have jurisdiction over you. In order for me to properly review that and go, it's got to be done according to the court rules. I need a motion. And I will read that motion.
I have submitted a motion to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me. And then I'll give you a motion.
I have a timestamped copy of it if you'd like me to show you.
All right. You got to submit it to the court. Look at the.
It was filed by the clerk just 2 days ago.
Okay,
I have a timestamped copy of it.
It hasn't got to the file. I'm going to give you another pretrial date.
I would like to say I do not consent. The court has to prove jurisdiction. I filed that document a few days ago. Anything short of that is an admission that there is no jurisdiction and we have no further business. We have no contract.
Man, I can't stand when these sovereign citizens start yelling about how the court has no jurisdiction. Like, bro, do you think just saying it out loud magically makes it true? That is not how this works. In case you didn't know, you actually have to prove it. File a motion, bring some evidence, do literally anything besides running your mouth. But nope, they'd rather waste everyone's time arguing with the judge, as if that's going to make the case disappear. I'm pretty sure this guy's whole game plan is just stalling, dragging things out, and hoping the case somehow vanishes. Well, bad news for him. He messed around and found out. And guess what? He wasn't done embarrassing himself yet. That's right, Judge Perkins made him wait until the very end of the docket. And when he came back for round 2, let's just say, it did not go any better. Stick around, because you're going to want to see just how much worse he made this for himself. But first, let me know what you think, because this one is wild.
None other than just stating that I do not consent to these proceedings and I do
You've
not
already
accept
put
any
that on,
of the
you've
contract.
already put that on the record.
Okay, good.
You came back in.
I would also like to ask why this Mrs. Rita White had claimed to represent me.
All right, let's go back on the record with Mr. Jamil Lockhart. How old are you, sir?
I am 27.
You're 27 years old, and you go ahead and you ask why Miss White is here to represent you. Well, first and foremost,
Why did she claim to represent me and I have no knowledge?
I'll explain to you. First and foremost, she's the House Counsel for this evening. So for this afternoon, she represents anybody who wants her representation as far as helping them to navigate and to defend themselves.
I have never expressed that want to her.
Why do you talk over people?
Well, I assume we were having a conversation. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
I am trying to have a conversation, but one's got to talk and one's got to listen.
Okay, go ahead.
You asked why Miss White said she represented you. Miss White said she represented you because she didn't know beforehand the position that you were going to take. So she's just merely
quite an assumption.
Her job.
That is quite an assumption. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, by the name that you put up on there, Jamil of the family Lockhart,
That is
I wasn't surprised I wasn't surprised the avenue that you were going to take on that. Just
I'm
by the
glad you
name.
recognize where I'm going.
But she's not going to assume. I don't believe she's going to assume that she's going to treat you any differently than anyone else. And then you said that you didn't want her representation, and she.
Wouldn't you agree that for future reference, it might be better to ascertain that kind of information before she makes that kind of statement to everybody?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
So the assumption is that everyone wants her to speak on their behalf.
Yes, until.
Is that not a rash assumption?
Until they say differently, like you did.
Okay. Well, again, this whole time, there's a motion before the court to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
Well, there's not a motion.
There's been what has been filed. I have a timestamp copy of it. I can show you that if you need to see it. But
okay,
your clerk timestamp filed that document.
Let me explain to you. And this is just for your information. You say that you filed it with the court and the clerk down at the window, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But typically you want to, when you do your filings, that's why you want to have a judge's copy, and you want to specifically have that copy hand delivered to the judge's chambers. So we don't rely on the court clerks downstairs at the windows to make sure that these files get put into the proper place. You're not going to make.
Who do you rely on for that?
You're making, and then because you don't want to make that assumption that file is going to get into the correct file. You don't want to make that assumption. Would you agree?
Who do you rely on to make sure that filed documents get into the right place, get into
the person that's filing it, yourself?
So it is not, you're telling me it's not the duty of
the law really isn't that complicated. If you want to file a motion in Michigan, you have to do it the right way. That means drafting it properly, following the court's formatting rules, filing it with the correct court, and most importantly, serving a copy to the other party. And surprise, surprise, I'm pretty sure this guy skipped that last step. You can't just drop it off at the clerk's office and assume they'll handle everything like your personal assistant. Once you submit a motion, there's usually a filing fee, and if a hearing is required, you have to schedule it. Skip these steps? Well, congrats. Your motion might as well not exist. And that's exactly why Judge Perkins isn't having it. The court isn't there to clean up your mess. It's on you to file things correctly. Honestly, if you can't figure that out, maybe